All right, hey guys, Hi-Fri here, and back again with a video. So, all right, I just want to make sure everything's working. Okay, so I want to do a quick teardown of the QKZ Hades. I bought these off Amazon a couple months ago. They were half off, like 50%, something like that. So they were like 25 bucks. I'm not going to review them. So we're not going to talk about the sound or anything. I will show you guys. Here's a graph. The blue line that you see is the version that I modded. And I'll show you the little mod that I put on them. And then the orange line is the stock response. So orange line, stock response. Blue line is the modded response. So that's that. And then I have a new microphone that I'm talking to you through today. I built this one today? I don't remember. I think it was yesterday. I'll show you a couple pictures real quick. So here's the capsule. It's a C12 style capsule. Got it from China for like 16 bucks. Altogether it was like 19 or 20 shipped. And then you can see the circuit board I'm using is that black and gold PCB. That one was I think like $6 for the PCB. So and I'll show you. I got it right here. So this is the PCB. This is one side of it. This is the polarizer. And then I have the other side, which has the JRC 2068, which is it's the dual op amp that powers the microphone basically. So let me know what you think. Hopefully it sounds pretty good. It's a great capsule. I mean, I thought it sounded pretty good. It's a CK12. So if you want, I can post a link of it. Like I said, I got it off of AliExpress for like 19 bucks with including shipping. So pretty cool. Anyway, it's kind of cold, so excuse my nasal passageways. I'm kind of dripping a little bit. But yeah, so let's get started. I'll crack open the box. And there is a little bit of a delay on the camera here. It's just because my Wi-Fi setup isn't the greatest right now. But I will get on that. I'm going to take care of that. So yeah, so we have the IAMs here. Have the little gold disc. They come with a few different sets of ear tips. Just pull these out real quick. Set those on the table. We got the little coin. I'll just show you the ear tips real quick. So it has the same ear tips as the Truth Ear Zero and the like the Truth Ear Red. It's those big bore. I don't know if you can see it, but it has that super wide bore for the nozzle. I like those ear tips because I use them with my Barcelona, because the Barcelona has a super chunky nozzle. So anyway, so we're gonna take these apart. I'm gonna turn my webcam or my microscope camera on here, and we'll get cracking. So let me just adjust him here. All right, so this is the faceplate. Just dial in the focus here a little bit. So we have our faceplate. We have our HBB logo. We have a little vent here on the top, and you can see the little mesh inside. So there's like a little mesh in there. And then we have our connector on the edge here. Now this IM features two 8mm drivers. They're polyurethane or poly something. It's the LCP/PU is what they say. So we'll confirm that, but I guess they're both supposed to be the same. But yeah, they're supposed to have the same drivers inside. You can see here's from the other camera. So this is the modded one, and then this is the stock one here. So, and then yeah, so we have the stock one here. Let me just focus in a little bit. All right, so there is there's like a little tuning filter on the inside of the shell, you can see. So it looks like this driver, the secondary driver, vents directly outside, and the base, goes into your like your outer ear cavity. And then we have our like high frequency or high mid frequency driver right here in the corner, and that just vents straight out to the nozzle. It looks like there is a little bit of combining happening from this secondary driver up through this little, if I can get it on camera here, let me see. So yeah, you can see this little tube right here. It's hard because the shell is dark, but you can see there's a little tube that kind of takes a 90-degree bend and goes into this driver and then goes into the nozzle there. Whoops. So anyway, that is the IM itself. Now I'm kind of curious why they didn't. So I have the HBB QKZ. I forget the name of this one, but this is the one that's kind of like a copycat of the Zero. It's got very similar drivers, very similar circuit. The tuning's a little bit different. It's a little bit more full in the like the mid-range area, if I remember correctly. There was like a slight roll-off in the upper mids on the Zero, and with this one they kind of changed it a little bit, but very similar design, except for they're using two different drivers in this one. They're using a 10-inch full range driver, but there's an actual crossover circuit inside, so this only plays bass. It's like a subwoofer basically, and then you have your mid-high driver that ports directly out into the nozzle, and it's similar concept where you'll have a little tube, and it's hard to see because it's matte plastic, but there's a little tube that comes off and mixes in the nozzle, and that kind of acts like a band pass too. It basically acts as like a low pass and only lets the bass pressure through, and it blocks all the other frequencies. So kind of a similar design that they took here, but they used two of the same drivers, and I don't think we're gonna see that crossover circuit in here. You can see from the graph that the tuning's just, I don't know, I'm not gonna comment on the tuning, but you could see it's that roll off, that super slow roll off when you get into 2, 3, 4, 600 hertz. It just keeps going and going, and it doesn't lose enough energy. It should drop off significantly after like 150 hertz, but instead it keeps going. So anyway, yeah, so let's take these bad boys apart. We're gonna start by I'll pull off the nozzle here, and we'll look underneath the nozzle, and then we'll crack open the back and look underneath these faceplates here and see what we have underneath the faceplates. So let me get my face out of here, and then I'm gonna grab my tool real quick and we'll pull this off. All right, so this is my tool of choice. I'll show you guys. It's just a little sewing needle, so just make sure it's sharp enough. And yeah, so basically you just take whatever it is that you're trying to get into, and you can use your needle to pry off whatever it is that you're working with. And you can see here that came off super easy. Now your oils in your skin will have an effect on the glue, and the glue will loosen up over time. And so yeah, so if you ever see those fall off, it's because your oils in your skin have loosened up the glue. And you can try to re-glue them, but it's very difficult. I'll show you guys a little thing that I have Here, actually, let me just grab it real quick since I have it right in front of me. So you can get these little nozzles. So this is just flux. This is soldering flux. This is that nano diamond flux paste I think I was talking about a while back. But you can get these little tips that come with it, and you can get like rubber cement. I get my rubber cement from like the dollar store, or you can get your B6000 or B7000 glue. And these tips are actually finer than the ones that come on the glue. But I have a little glue thing that I'll use, and yeah, so you can see how fine the tip is on it. It's a super fine tip, and it's just fine enough to the point where you can go in and glue back on, you know, any like dampener or whatever that fell off, or you know, mesh or whatever. But yeah, so anyway, that's what that's for. Those little tips, that's what I use them for, at least whenever it comes to like gluing something that's like super fine together. All right, so we have a mesh underneath here. This looks like a pretty fine mesh. Let me get in real close. See how. So yeah, so we have a super fine mesh here, probably like a 300, 400 maybe. Actually, it looks more than that. It looks like a 450 or 500 mesh, but I could be wrong. It could be like a 300. I have all kinds of meshes I could compare it to, but yeah. So let's pull this off real quick. All right. There we go, and we can just see inside the nozzle there, so you can see the driver. So it does look like it's an LCP driver, so that would be our 9mm driver there, and you can better see the tube here on the side. So that's the tube that goes from the secondary driver and mixes inside this little cavity here. It's kind of hard to show, but it goes in there. You can actually probably, oh no, can't really see it. It must blend further down in there, because I cannot. Yeah, you can just barely make it out there in the corner. So let me use my sewing needle to kind of show you guys where it's at, so you can just see it right there. Just see the hole right there. That's where it comes out at. So, but anyway, yep. So it looks like these, we'll find out soon, but it looks like these drivers play out into the air, and then they also combine inside the shell, which is a little bit funky. It's like a passive tuning configuration or whatnot. But yeah, so there's that. And then they got that little fine mesh. That's probably to keep, you know, skin gunk from getting inside. But all right, so let me get to the this other camera here, and I just want to show you how I remove faceplates. So I use a razor knife with a flat edge, and then I usually start here at the bottom of the IM, so like the teardrop portion, and I just try to find the seam wherever the seam is, and I'll hit it with like a piece of metal, you know, hammer or whatever, like anything that has a little bit of weight to it. So let me get my face out of the way here. Essentially, you can kind of see a seam right here. You see this portion here. So just kind of find the seam and then apply pressure. Sometimes you can pop them off without even using like a hammer. All right. And yeah, so it kind of worked. I mean, you could repair that. You could put it back together and re-glue it, and it wouldn't cause too much of an issue. And it would actually look decent, but you'd have to re-lacquer it and all that. That's why doing resin IEMs is kind of a pain in the butt. But yeah, so technically, you see if I realign the pieces and push down on it, so like we missed a little bit here, I'd have to go in there and fill it with some resin, and you know, there's a couple little cracks here that I'd have to kind of fill in, but you could make it look decent again. It would, I don't think you could make it look perfect, but you can make it look decent. So here are our two drivers, and it does look like they're doing some electrical tuning here. So I will probably save the other IEM from destruction, and I will I'll measure each driver, kind of find out what they're doing a little bit, kind of try to figure out what's going on with the tuning in this IEM. But it looks like they're just wired into series. There is a resistor there. We have a resistor. We have a giant capacitor. So this is our filter capacitor. This actually might be, oh, you know what? No, that might be for the for this mid-high frequency driver that's a little further down here. So yeah, so anyway, let's kind of destroy this a little bit. I got my snips here. So I got a pair of snips here and the IEM, and I can just kind of snip away the resin, and we'll start by cutting this open a little bit more, and let's see if we can have a better look inside the nozzle here. Yeah, so we can start to see that hole a little bit better where it kind of mixes. All right. And I'm sorry about the focus, guys. When you're working with a microscope, it's hard to keep it in focus. All right. Holy crap. It's still on there really good. Here we go. All right, so I've exposed the driver a little bit better. And then here we can see this hole. Let me, I'll get in real close for you guys. So there's our hole that comes off of this driver here. And then we have our LCP driver. Looks like one of those really thick diaphragms. Some of these diaphragms are pretty darn thick. And I mean, it doesn't affect the sound too much. It definitely gives them kind of a meaty sound. All right, sorry. I'll try to keep this in frame. Now we have some of the glue coming off. All right, let's pull that out. Alright, so we liberated the driver. Got a little bit of schmutz there, but not too bad. There's the back end of the driver. Still a little bit of glue with like resin on it. And if you ever wondered why I destroy IMs like this, it's because if you try to get rid of this glue, you have a very high chance of damaging the wires, the electrical wires that go from this PCB down into the diaphragm. So you got to be really careful. And for instance, if I tried to dig it dig it out of the resin here, I would have to again take my sewing needle, and I'll just kind of demonstrate. And you would literally have to sit there and just pry at it. And this stuff is not easy to get up. It's really, really difficult. You could use solvents, but the problem is if you get solvents on the driver, you could damage the mesh here. You could loosen up the solvents that hold the PCB on, and the PCB could rip off. The solvents could get in, the gas or the off-gassing from the solvents could mix in with the diaphragm of the driver and could affect the driver. So there's a lot of reasons why it's easier and less time consuming to just destroy the IM. Of course, you lose an IM. If you want to keep them, you can sit there and dig and dig and dig, and it's going to take you a long time, but you could eventually do it. But yeah, I prefer this method. Just it works a little better for me. So let's try to liberate this driver so we can take a better look at it. Let's see. Here we go. I'm trying to get this connector off. All right, cool. So there's the connector in one piece. Still have our high driver in one piece. Here's our low driver. And I think I'm gonna stop here because so you see the wire area where the conductors go. This area right here is exposed. So that means I can now use leverage on the driver, and I can try to get it out without breaking the shell anymore. It might not happen though. Let's see, let's get a little bit more off here. All right, here we go. Now we have a little more exposed. There we go. All right, so there's our second LCP driver. So you can see we got two of the LCP drivers. Both in pretty decent condition. And then I'll take a closer look here at the circuit in just a second. After we take a look at the rest of the shell here, because I want to see kind of what they're doing with this second driver. So we have let's see, we got all this mess to deal with, so let's kind of clean up some of this mess real quick, and then we'll go over the design. throw that in the trash a little bit. All right, so this is the piece I'm interested in, and let's take a look at it, and we'll kind of talk about what's going on here. So this is the base driver, and you can see we have 2 dampeners right here. So this is the dampener that leads to that hole that mixes with the nozzle that I was showing earlier. So it's essentially this dampener right here that leads to that hole, or that tube. So you can see that one goes to the tube, vents out, and then we have another one right here, and this is the one that kind of vents out directly to your ear cavity, or out to atmosphere. So I mean, you saw by the graph, you can retune these if you mess with this dampener in here. So I mean, that's up to you. If you want to get a set of dampeners or some glue, you can seal that up, or you can even pop a hole in it and let the driver breathe more. I mean, if they're on sale, you pick them up for 25 bucks. These would be a pretty decent IM for modding, and you can do what I do and just remove the back plate here, and you could probably mess with the tuning of the drivers. So, but yeah. So anyway, so that's the tuning of the base driver. So kind of interesting. All right, and then let's take a closer look at the back of the drivers here, kind of make out what's going on. So we have our positive lead that comes in from the connector, goes into our base driver, it looks like. So it goes into the base driver, goes into a resistor, and then a big beefy capacitor. Was it 226C? And then that goes into our high frequency driver here, it looks like. And so this circuit right here, this is for the high frequency. So they're not doing any tuning. It's kind of a different setup than this other IM here, and like the 0 type IM. So definitely different tuning, because they're not doing any tuning with the base driver here. They're just letting it play full range and just kind of like filtering it. That's one of the reasons why it has problems with roll off, and it just goes forever and plays a bunch of like mid bass and low mids and even mid frequencies. Because basically what's happening here is on this PCB, so you have power coming in, going into the circuit to this other higher frequency driver here, but you also have power going back, because it's this PCB continues, and you have your positive termination that goes directly into this driver. So it's basically getting full frequency. It's just going from this wire back into the driver. Same thing with the negative. It's just going straight into the driver, and then the this little LC or RC circuit is going into the high frequency driver and tuning the high frequency driver. So let's try to get a closer look at it and see real quick. It's kind of hard to see with the reflections of the metal cavity, but we can just make out the surround ring in there, so you can see that. And then there's our glue where the wires terminate. There's our mesh on the back of the driver. So they're cool drivers. definitely definitely cool drivers. Let me I'm gonna take this high frequency one off, and I'm just gonna open this up real quick so we can have a closer look at the diaphragm, and we'll have a closer look at the construction. So these you can fairly easily open if you take a pair of snips like this and just kind of pry up on these edges here. And then I can usually just grab on, oops. I can usually grab onto it. Whatever is coming up. Let's just pop it off. Here, I gotta get a razor knife real quick. Alright, here, let me just do this. I gotta get some leverage on it so I can get it out cleanly. Oh, come on, you fucker. I'm trying to destroy the diaphragm as little as possible. Let me just open this up. Sorry, guys. Trying to do this without edits. I will edit future videos. But this one I'm just doing on the fly because I haven't posted in so long. I figured I would just do a quick post. But yeah, so there you go. Still in almost one piece. So we have our little motor structure, this magnet here in the back. This is like the same construction as all the KZ IMs you see. Even my Aphex IM uses the same construction driver. Let's put these down here real quick. So these are our pieces. So we have our little back plate. We have our little diaphragm here, and we have our magnet. And get this diaphragm really quick, and then I'm gonna zoom in super close for you guys, and then we'll finish up the video. So yeah, so there's the diaphragm. I can't really move my microscope down because I have my webcam arm on it, and if I move it, it's gonna screw up where the webcam is. So I'll probably get like a little table or something that I can mount the drivers on so you guys can see them better and I'm not shaking around like this. So there's the voice coil. It's really hard to get in focus. But yeah, seems like actually a pretty nice diaphragm. It's kind of a shame with the tuning because these are actually very nice LCP drivers. It's a very soft, nice thin, but like rigid diaphragm. So these could sound really good in something else. So I mean, 4 of them. So say you buy a pair of these IMs for half off, you get them for $25. I don't know what these LCP drivers would run you on AliExpress, but that's 4 of them right there for $25. So I mean, that's almost worth it if you just want to use the speakers themselves, because something like this straight from a seller off AliExpress would at least cost you 20 bucks, maybe 25 bucks. For the 50 bucks, it's not worth destroying the IEM. I would rather just save them and modify them, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Where did that diaphragm go? There it is. So I will add this to my collection of diaphragms. But yeah, guys, so that's pretty much it. That is the HBB Hades. And yeah, so no editing on this video. You know, again, I'm sorry, but this was just one of those things. I wanted to get a video out quick, and I wanted to kind of set up, you know, work on my setup again with like the showing you guys the graph. I gotta find a way to kind of like highlight it, you know, and then showing you the microphone and all that. But yeah, I gotta find a way to like put my mouse on screen. Maybe I'll do OBS what do you call it, scene of like my desktop, and so I can like show you the mouse on my desktop, and I'll just go around and click on stuff. But I have to work that out, because that means I would have to get a second monitor, and I have to find even more space on my already completely cluttered desk, which is just like I got crap everywhere. So but yeah, guys, that's it. I'll see you next time, and eventually we'll take a look at these. I want to kind of try to retune these. That's another thing too, is I want to get a setup so like maybe instead of having the camera set up here, I could have it aimed at like my measuring setup. So we could do like something like this with the coupler, and I can have what do you call it, the measuring software up on the computer, and then we could you know, take measurements or whatever of the various IEMs, and I could go through kind of what to look for when you're trying to tune an IEM or like retune an IEM. Start with like a single DD driver, that kind of thing. So I think that would be pretty cool. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next time. Have a good one. Bye.